The Circuit of the Northwest, a 232-acre multi-use complex, is set to make a grand entrance into the Pacific Northwest in the next year. This one-of-a-kind venue located in the heart of the Port of Bremerton will be putting together motorsports, recreation, entertainment, and technology within a breathtaking 232-acre complex set dramatically among the elevated terrain of the beautiful Cascade Mountains. From adrenaline-pumping race events to concerts and exhibitions, this complex is designed to offer something for everyone. Circuit of the Northwest is poised to become a major player in the region's economic growth. Joining us today, along with Brian Nilsen, owner and founder of the Circuit of the Northwest, is Daniella Lewis, Director of Sales, Membership Services, and Business Development for Circuit of the Northwest. Thank you so much for joining me today, guys.
It's great to be here.
Yeah,
thanks for having us.
Today we're going to get started talking about some of the new development that's happened with Circuit of the Northwest. But before we can do that, I'd really like to give my viewers, a glimpse into who you are. Brian, you've got a long-standing name here in our community. Brothers Power Sports been in business since 1949.
Yes.
And your efforts there have led you all over the world into racing, here and abroad. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Racing's in my blood, I guess you could say, and motorcycles. So yeah, I've been in the county a long time. Family business, we're a multi-line dealership. So, along with, selling bikes and being part of the business, the racing aspect, the actual, the usage of our product is important to us, because if you don't provide, facilities to use our products, then our sport is in, danger of not being accessible to everybody. So I'm involved with Moto West track facility that we're actually opening our season this month, or actually early next month. And then, it led to Circuit of the Northwest ultimately, so the activation of that product is very important to me. And just excited to get going.
And Daniella, why don't you tell us a little bit about your experience with Brothers and leading to Circuit of the Northwest?
So I came on board about a year and a half ago to help with membership and business development with Circuit of the Northwest. It's been an amazing journey.
Yeah.
So when did this passion start for you? I have been reading articles since at least 2019, and speaking with the public, about this exciting prospect.
Right.
News has been afloat for a little while. People are aware that it's been coming. How did this begin for you, Brian?
A long time ago. Yeah. So I've been working on it pretty steady for 8 to 10 years. So how it all started is, as I hold the lease for the usage on 119 acres at the Port of Bremerton. And we do a lot of public activity out there, from training the West Sound EVOC, 13 police agencies, Kitsap Transit does some training up there. So that development is going away. So the port has rezoned that area, aviation business. So essentially, we're moving from that location across Highway 3 to the 232 acres you described. It's a stunning piece of real estate. And so during the past 8 to 10 years was about getting a SEPA, working with the city, getting our permits in line, getting ready to put a shovel in the ground.
Yeah, because that's kind of what I gathered from the information available in the news articles, is that you were already deep into the process,
right? And
then suddenly it was like, oh, now you're going to have to move, and you were able to accommodate that along with help from Port of Bremerton.
Exactly, yeah.
So I guess what we could say is that this really wouldn't have been possible without their help. Could you elaborate a little bit?
No, yeah, it wouldn't have been possible at all. So what's important to the port is benefiting the taxpayers. So as far as that public training component, it was important to continue that for our county. So if that facility goes away and no one takes the initiative to have it move forward, then we lose all those training grounds, for our first responders and Naval Base Kitsap and Kitsap Transit and so on. So it was important to keep that going And that's important to the Port of Bremerton too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it made them they made it possible for that 50-year lease on their 230 acres for that activity.
And now, with the new development plans,
Right.
This program is going to grow. And, definitely it's going to be much larger than it was prior at the original location. So,
Right.
I think that's, something that's really worth highlighting for this is just the ability for our first responders to get this kind of training that they weren't going to have access to prior. The track itself, I read a lot about this, and I've definitely heard you guys speak about it. Herman Tilke.
Yeah.
This is the name that's been going around.
Yeah.
Tilke.
Yeah, Tilke.
Yes.
2.66 miles long with an 80-foot elevation change. So for viewers who might not be fully aware what that means and how dramatic that is in racing, why don't you tell me a little bit about what it's like to have Herman Tilke designed this course and why people should be so excited about that?
Yeah, if you're going to tackle this project like this, you want the best in class in every category, from each partnership to, the who's in construction and an architect. You better have a great architect, and we have the world's leading architect in motorsports. So what's exciting about it? Yes, natural terrain. You hit on the elevation. We have 85 feet of elevation from the very highest point to the lowest point. So if you go out there, the land is tilted. And so that gives way to the views of the mountains. And then when they did a site visit, they incorporated all of the natural terrain. So when you do a road course, it's sort of like a golf course where you want the ups and downs and the undulations. You don't want something flat that you have to work with and try to make it interesting. You want those elevations. And so the exciting thing is having a world-class architect work with your natural terrain and make it exciting. So they've taken characteristics of very famous tracks around the world and put them on our design. So turn 2, 3, and 4 is like Istanbul Motorsports Park. So they took a direct replica of one of their corners and put it on our master plan. We have another real exciting corner, turn 12, which goes down 35 feet into a valley, and it's a lot like the corkscrew at Laguna Seca, very famous feature. And so ours will be FIA and FIM homologated. And that just means that it's proper, it's safe, and it'll accommodate all the racing bodies from around the world.
That's excellent. So that kind of elaborates for me when I read about turns. It's very specific wording. It's not just that your track has 14 different turns on it. It's that each turn is very specifically calibrated and designed for the effect.
Right.
That's unbelievable.
Very technical.
Looking right at it, you would never expect that, but that's beautiful. What other kind of innovation can be expected here at Circuit of the Northwest? Because I think that's a lot of what we've discussed, and what we'd like our viewers to know is that this is much more than a racetrack. So
it's much more. Yeah, it started, and that's part of the 8 to 10 year journey, right? Is you can't just wake up one morning and go, I want to build a racetrack. That sounds fun. You have to make sure that it works, that it's economically feasible, that it has an ROI, that it creates jobs. All these things are going to your master plan. So each square foot on the property is thought out and develops an ROI of some sort. And so that's the journey that we've been on. And, we've come up with a master plan that has multi-use, has innovation, and it has the economic development. It has the ROI to the community. Because if you don't have a community eye to this thing, it's really, we're on public ground. We're on Port of Bremerton land. So we feel a responsibility to the public to make sure that ROI is there in the form of jobs, tourism, and so on.
And every inch of this has been designed for effect and for that ROI. So why don't we talk a little bit about the partners that have gone into this? Because you've mentioned it. The race course is similar to a golf course. And with the Cohen Group, these are major architects, yeah?
Right.
That work on designing just that, golf courses
Right.
traditionally, but have expanded into other markets. Why don't you tell me about their design?
It's the same thing where you have to have best in class in all aspects. So the Joel Cohen Group has the experience. They've been there and done that around the world with design, with incorporating, complex master plans. And so like we wanted to make sure that this was all vetted and the best practices are adhered to, So yes, entertainment and motorsports with an amphitheater, and then having the partnerships in place, and everything works together. It's all integrated. So it's not just a standalone track. It's not just a standalone amphitheater that's designed. It all works together. So if we have an event one weekend, you'll have the entertainment and the motorsports coming together.
Yeah.
And then we plan on having a summer concert series, for example. And so with everything working together, it all works, if that makes sense. It's like a stew. You have all the great ingredients and it's good together.
And this is, really going to invigorate our local economy. Why don't we talk a little bit about that? What can we expect to see as far as the effect?
We just got done with the market study, and so February 24th, we completed our market study with taking all of our aspects of the project and then having a third party vet those. And they came up with 978 jobs, direct, indirect, all together. And then they came up with a $5 billion economic development over 30 years. So those are the highlights, it's 150 pages, but it's, they looked at our financial model. They looked at the opportunities and the racing and the concerts and everything together. $5 billion is a pretty big number.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so that is, we feel really good about that because it means that we're good stewards. We're not just building a private road course, for example. It has public use and it integrates the public activity with it. And so
brings great, regional benefit.
Yeah, regional benefit. It's not just for our community. That's a good
right.
point. So it's a regional benefit. And so, I like economic development comes outside of the area, has the tourism component, and then people go back and just leave their money in Kitsap. I think that's good. It's a less strain on our infrastructure, and it's an attractor for people in our community. It's the shiny new thing that'll be here for years to come. So I think that will promote good growth for Kitsap. So that those quality of life things I think will bring people to our area. And it already has. Actually, some of our members, that Danielle has done a great job building our private membership up. And, some of our members have
relocated here to be close to what the track and the facility.
And brought their businesses.
That's
right. They're buying real estate. They're investing in Kitsap, and so you times that, by hundreds and thousands, and pretty soon we're all in a better place.
Yeah, and in my research, I think, I could say that there's already been a hearty amount of stimulation felt in, just construction. With this project going into play, it's already started to stimulate some local growth and new jobs that, probably didn't exist before, but
Right.
That's right.
Yeah, and we feel like we're so lucky to be in an industrial park in effect. So, we're in effect building a natural terrain road course in an industrial park.
Yeah.
It's a one-off that just doesn't happen. And so we feel that the growth that we stimulate will help fill out those vacant industrial spaces for the Port of Bremerton.
Let's talk about some other growth that's stimulated here.
Yeah.
You guys will have a state-of-the-art technological platform. You are pairing with, was it LeMays that I was reading about in regards to that?
Yeah.
But you will be offering STEM programs. I guess, what I'm alluding to in this question is really just the financial benefit that comes from, a new generation of individuals that are trained in science and technology.
It's a problem, Ash. I mean, we have skilled labor, and it's a huge problem worldwide, right? So we want to help with that with our partners that we have on board, from the ASMs, the Pepsis, the Toyotas. everyone wants to help the skilled labor problem. I experience it in my motorcycle business, where it's the toughest positions to fill are skilled labor.
Mm-hmm.
And so we do have a STEM initiative. It's actually a STEAM initiative with a theater that we have on campus too. So what we're developing are youth pathways, and we've established 10 so far, from culinary to event management, welding, and then we plan on having a separate structure that, we'll be working with design with our partners. But we want to set an example and move forward with STEM initiatives. And what we think we can do that's different is application. So, when you're in a classroom, that's theory. And when you're actually using your hands, that's application. Well, we think we can develop that curriculum with not only just race cars, helicopters, aviation, things like that will excite kids. And I look at the model in England that's called UTC model. And so they have 30 plus of these around England, and they use Silverstone. There's a UTC there where they have engineering and event management. And so students, when they're 14 years old, can apply for these programs and actually get trained and have marketable skills when they graduate. And I'm like, why don't we, what are we doing?
Is anyone else doing anything like that today?
The schools do a great job. I'm not knocking anything that goes on. It's just, starting with a plan, and making it better and better and better over time. And so our plan is to work with the private partners, and we have a lot of those established already. But our goal is to create the excitement and give some marketable skills to students that when they're 18, I heard the stat that scared me, and it's 75% of kids graduate and they don't really know what they want to do. I guess I was one of those. I still don't. But 75%.
Yeah.
Maybe can we get that down to 50? And there's so many programs out there that people don't know about. That if you have a marketable skill, you are, there's so much opportunity, and so to just help kids with that vision and give them a direction. And then there's so much opportunity that even I had no clue.
Yeah, I think access is, just so important. And a lot of programs, can give you a degree of the knowledge necessary, but as far as that physical implementation, getting out there and actually turning some screws, a lot of students don't really, get that opportunity. And that's in a lot of different fields.
We've established the pathways, and then our idea is to have a brand, like an ambassador over each pathway, so the students have someone to look up to. They have like a goal, I guess, and somebody that can articulate and then take an interest in this one field, and then have the student be like, I want to do that, like that sounds fun. And then you have those skills attainment over those 4 years, and then they get a certificate. You are proficient in this field. Well, the cool thing is there's crossover. So if you're working on a car, then you can work on an aircraft, or vice versa, because all the technology that's being developed will be everywhere. It'll be in a car, it'll be in a helicopter, it'll be in a drone, GPS, connectivity, material science. So it's all encompassing. Yeah. So I think that's what's missing. I think the application is what's missing from education, in my opinion.
I just want to add too that we're going to be a STEAM facility, not just STEM. We're going to also have the arts, and we're building a theater.
Right.
So we'll be able to have that in our master plan as well.
One of our partners is C-Stock, the local theater group.
Yeah.
Excellent.
We're giving them a home.
We love that partnership, and we can leverage that facility into a youth pathway.
Well, and I think it's important that people see that is also a valid part of the arts that needs to be preserved, and working hand in hand like that. It sends a message out to the community that this too is valuable. Yeah. I think one of the coolest things about Circuit of the Northwest is that people may make comparisons to other circuits or tracks out there, but there is no one that's leading in this type of innovation. This will be the first of its kind, and it will kind of now set the new benchmark for what this type of entertainment looks like.
Yeah, the Circuit of the Americas down in Austin, Texas is a really good comparison. It's a massive facility, and they're same architect as Tilka.
Okay.
And so Christian Epp is the guy that built that place from the ground up from Tilka. He was the head architect, and so we're working with him and his group as well. So, but taking best practices, and you're right. I mean, we call ourselves a hybrid, and so there's basically 3 types of tracks out there, from rental tracks, we call them club tracks. There's private road courses, like it would be like Augusta National, where the public access is pretty much denied. And then there's event facilities, like pure event facilities. And it's really tough to make each one of those work on their own. You have to do best practices from each and kind of combine them to make a viable facility. That's what we found.
So we're starting to run out of time,
Okay.
but I imagine there's some wonderful new information you want to let us all know. We got a Toyota partnership going on. I felt that was definitely exciting and worth mention. Is there anything else that we can let our viewers know today about Circuit of the Northwest?
We spent some time in Long Beach.
Yeah, Long Beach. Networking with a lot of influential people in racing.
There's a lot coming up.
Yeah.
There's a lot behind the dam here. Yeah. And we spent the last few years designing an amphitheater.
Right.
That's layered into our master plan.
You guys finished building a roadway in there very recently, and
the port is working on a roadway. It will be one of our entrance roads. Yeah. Yes. So that
access to the property.
Almost there.
So we have some infrastructure going in right now, and then we look to be breaking ground in Q3 of this year. We're working, on some details. There's many projects in one, so it's like a choreographed. Organized effort.
But we can find all the information, circuitofthenorthwest.com.
Circuitofthenorthwest.com.
Joincnw.com.
Right.
Memberships, sales, information.
All of it.
And we can race the track there too, right? You guys put out a little video game.
Yeah, we have it on, what do you call it? Sim.
Yep.
Yeah, so we have that. Actually, if you have the software, we can give you, you can drive around Circuit of the Northwest.
You can do a lap.
Yeah.
Already.
Well, I really appreciate you guys coming out and joining us today, and look forward to, getting more information about Circuit of the Northwest out there. For me personally, I make comparisons in my mind. I was lucky enough to go to Italy last year and, see the Circus Maximus out there. And
awesome.
Yeah.
I thought to myself the other day, like, this is what Brian's doing, like how few people get to, put such a mark on the world. So, thank you so much for what you guys are doing. And, I really appreciate you guys coming out here today.
Yeah. Appreciate you.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Pleasure.
As we wrap up today's discussion on Afternoons with Ash, it's clear that Circuit of the Northwest is much more than just a new motorsports complex. It's a symbol of progress, innovation, and community. With its state-of-the-art facilities and commitment to sustainability, Circuit of the Northwest is setting the standard for what a modern racetrack should be. And with the support of top brands like Pepsi and Toyota, it's poised to become a must-visit destination for motorsports enthusiasts from all over the world. Circuit of the Northwest is also about more than just high-speed thrills, though. With its extensive training and education programs, including STEM initiatives for local schools and driving schools and enthusiasts of all skill levels, Circuit of the Northwest is empowering the next generation of engineers, mechanics, and drivers. And with its commitment to local organizations and charities, it's also giving back to the community in meaningful ways. So as we look forward to the grand opening of Circuit of the Northwest, let's remember that it's not just a racetrack, it's a vision of what our region can be. A place where technology and tradition come together, where speed and sustainability coexist, and where community and innovation are always in the driver's seat. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you at the racetrack.